Welcome back guys to another video, and today I've actually got something really special. We've got a 911 Turbo, so it's Porsche 911 Turbo, it's 2008 997, and honestly this thing is such a epic car. What an amazing car. As you can see, thing is just stunning, simply stunning. That is the one word to describe this car, absolutely stunning. So what we'll do is we'll go for a little walk around the car, and then we'll go for a quick little drive. The road conditions aren't the greatest, but I've been given the car, so thank you very much to the owner. But yeah, as you can see, epic 911 Turbo. I've got a soft spot for these 911 Turbos, and it's been a while since I actually drove a 997, and what an epic, example here to drive. So I hope you enjoy the video, guys. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Performance Lifestyles. Check us out on Instagram, Performance_Lifestyles, and we're on Facebook as well, Performance Lifestyles. We've got plenty of videos uploaded, and we've got plenty of content to come. And if you'd like your car featured on our channel, drop us an email at pflifestyle@hotmail.com, or alternatively get in touch with us through any one of our social media accounts, and we'll be happy to make arrangements. But for today, we've got this epic 911 Turbo. Check it out. So here it is, 997 Turbo cab. It's a Gen 1, I believe, 2008. And it's fitted with a couple of little touches to it which actually make it stand out from the norm. But with these 911 Turbos, they've got the standard DRL lights here, xenon lights, fog lights. This lip, I believe, has been color coded because they're normally black. The wheels have been painted black, but which looks quite good, to be fair, against the white, the white car. And red brake calipers, massive red brake calipers, standard Porsche calipers. I mean, look at this thing. Honestly, simply stunning. What a beautiful car. And this couple of options, extras on this car. It's got a GT style, I think it's a GT2 or GT3 style bumper vent right at the top here. Suits the car quite nicely, I'd say. Tech art side skirts, which again, they've got like a bit of a twist to them right at the back there. They're quite a bulky sort of skirt, but it sits well with the arches on this car that flare out quite nicely. And with it being a turbo, it's got the intakes here, so these feed air directly into the airbox, which is at the back there, which Porsche's engines are at the back. And with it being a turbo, it's a four-wheel drive. And again, it's got a Tech Art rear diffuser. So the standard one is just like a complete one shape, but it's got a Tech Art rear diffuser, which again suits the car quite well. Massive tyres on the back. Literally, they are massive tyres. I'm sure they're not too far off like a 305 3019s. But I mean, seriously, look at that. Look at that 911 Turbo. What a beautiful car. And in white, you don't really see many of them around in white. So, and this one's like, yeah man, this is like a dream car. These were known as the daily driven supercars. It's a 3.6 litre flat six engine with two turbochargers strapped to it. And boy, do they shift. They are very fast. Standard 480 odd horsepower, over 400 pounds-feet of torque, and just look at the looks. It's quite possibly one of the best 997 Turbos I've actually seen in the flesh on the road. And it's got the benefit of being a cab. So them nice hot summer's days, wind blowing through your hair. It's a beauty. See, if you come up behind one, you've come up behind a 911 Turbo when you see that rear bumper, the vent, and obviously the badges on the back there as well with the spoiler, where you can fit. Anybody could put a badge in, the deck lid from a turbo onto a non-turbo, but when the whole package is there, when you see the width of them tyres, they're humongous. Yes, you've got something special there. So with the roof off then, this is what this beauty looks like. So much better as half a car than with the roof on. This camera's probably not picking everything up as good as it does in the flesh, but it's just all the angles on the car, the arches, the way it's all designed, the whole spoiler, the bulge on the back here. looks ever so menacing. I can carry on looking at this car all day. Such a beautiful car. And with the prices of these cars at the moment as well, these were mid 30 grand cars with reasonable mileage on them, but now you're looking at something like this is maybe what, 50k as a guess. And I suppose if you're spending that sort of money, you're not going to find much better from this era for 50 grand. So onto the inside. The moment you open the door, you're introduced with these turbo kick plates. It's got obviously leather seats, fully adjustable electric seats, the heated seats as well. It's got the white dials, and then the 5 dials on here, which really do act like 6 because it's got 2 dials on that, and 225 miles an hour on the speedometer, which I believe these cars will do around the 200 miles per hour mark, which from a supercar from 2008, that's actually very good going. A daily driven supercar. These cars are quite literally, you could drive them around, jump into them, drive them every day and not really encounter too many problems. Servicing isn't massively expensive as well, considering what they're up against, your Ferraris and stuff of the same era, which do cost an arm and a leg more to run. But these Porsches are just such an amazing car. They're well built, they drive very, very nice, and they've got a special feel to them. When you're jumping into one of these, you're jumping into something special, and this is such a mega car. The last one I actually drove was a macadamia bronze car that had ceramic brakes and all the options on it, and it was such a beauty, but that was a good few years ago now. So jumping back into a 997 turbo, it's a pleasure. Honestly, it's such a pleasure. This car is mega. It's got the sat nav, heated seats, and then the sports mode here, the buttons here. So what this does is if you put it into sports mode, it's got the sports chrono pack, which gives it, on full throttle, it gives it more power and more torque for I think it's about 20 seconds. So it does really get the car going. And as I mentioned, they're 480 odd horsepower, 0 to 60 times they're about 3.5 to 4 seconds, and top speeds is around the 200 miles per hour, and they'll get there. It's a 4-wheel drive car, so most road conditions it will get there, but it's the way the power's delivered. The power's there, towards the bottom end, mid-range, and top end as well. So some cars drop off top end. The twin turbochargers on these, perfect. Get one remapped around the 1 bar of boost, and you're looking maybe 600 horsepower. That's just a simple map. 600 brake horsepower. Very good figures. Very good figures. So again, the dials have actually got turbo written on them, which, with it being a turbo, you got your oil pressure, fuel temperature, speed, and you got your oil temperature, which is a must. You need to keep an eye on these things just so you know what's going on. And then it's got the Porsche crested headrests, which this is an optional extra. Bose sound system. This is all leather on the dashboard. I'm not sure if it's extended on these. And the rear seats, actually, I'll show you. They are, that you can squeeze somebody into there. You're probably not going to have a very comfortable passenger ride in the rear, but again, they're not really designed to carry rear seat passengers, but they've fitted rear seats into them. And again, it's not designed for that, so I suppose it sits quite well with the rest of the car. So with the engine on these, you got the button here, and the engine sits underneath here. So you got a 3.6 litre variable turbine geometry, twin turbocharged flat 6. The engines on these, actually, there's not a lot going on over here because the engines actually come to probably around here somewhere. So to work on anything on these cars, a lot of times you just have to drop the engine just to get work done on them. But again, standard characteristics of any Porsche really. All the 911s are very similar, but with it being a turbo, it's a bit more compact, a bit more going on, and you're not really going to find many better cars from this era when you're talking this sort of a class of a car than a 911 turbo. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is the outside. The spoiler is adjustable, and it actually, when you go over a certain speed, it actually, forgot to shut the boot there, it raises up to probably about here, and I'll show you that. I'll put a clip in here and you'll know exactly what I mean. And the saying was, back in the days when first the 996s and stuff, if you drive past a cop and they see your spoiler up, they know you're doing more than what you should be doing, because I think it's about 70 miles an hour the spoiler comes up. There is a button on the inside which raises the spoiler, lowers the spoiler, but general, the sarcastic saying was, if you go past one with the spoiler up, they know you're doing over 70 miles an hour. But yeah, I just trying to absorb all of this, man. This car is so good. The boot, again, which is under there on the front of one of these, so you open with this button here, exactly that. You could fit a couple of bags of your shopping in there, but don't think you're going to get much more in there. So if you're planning on taking one of these with suitcases, you may as well forget about it, unless you're not carrying passengers and you can stick them inside. But again, they weren't designed for that. They weren't designed as luggage carriers. They were just a daily supercar. What we'll do is we'll go for a quick little drive now, just to give you guys a feel, just give you my feedback on what I believe, what I think these drive like, and then we'll conclude the video. But like I said, got a hold of this car today, made arrangements for this, and even though the weather's not the greatest, thought we'll get it done. So thank you very much for allowing me to do this. It's the owner's pride and joy, and I appreciate the fact that I'm here videoing it for the channel. So thank you very much. But what we'll do is we'll go for a drive. So we'll catch you on there. So then, the actual drive on this car, as I previously mentioned, they are basically one of the best daily supercars that you can buy. And even though it is this shape is, I think they came about 2005, 2006, so it's still fairly old. But the drive on them is absolutely awesome. The newer ones are just incredible. They're on a complete different level. We've got a review actually on our channel of a 991.1, I think it was, or a 0.2. It was a 2017 odd C4S, but even though that wasn't the turbo, but it was still an incredible car. But the turbos are just on a completely different level. These have got, a lot more power, especially more so than the 997 C4S. But the way these cars drive is just great. When you're cruising along like now, just pottering around, they drive like a normal car. If you didn't see the badge on the steering wheel, didn't look out your rear view mirrors, which you should, because it's a bit dangerous if you don't, but if you didn't, you would not even be able to tell that you're driving a supercar. And now this thing is a proper machine. These are a proper weapon, proper tool. You jump into one of these, something special, and then you see all this leather everywhere, thrown everywhere. Quite literally, it's thrown everywhere. And then you see the Porsche sign on the steering wheel, and then the turbo sign on the clocks. Then you know for sure you're definitely onto something really special. And that is confirmed the moment you put your foot down. They pull like an absolute rocket. These things are a proper rocket ship. And like I mentioned, they're under 500 horsepower, about 480 brake horsepower. Torque figures are over 400, so Newton meters is going to be way over 500, and nearly 200 miles an hour top speed, and 3.7 second 0 to 60 times. I don't see what else you could ask for. I know you could buy Golf Rs and stuff and map them up to stage 2 DSGs, and they could run faster 0 to 60 times by a fraction of a second. But it's not the same thing, man. That's nowhere near the same thing. When you're driving a 911 turbo, you're driving something special. When you're driving a Golf R, for example, they're a beautiful car. Don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking them, but they're everywhere. Everywhere. You don't see no 997 turbos floating around, and most certainly you don't see them in white. This is a factory white 997 turbo cab. It's got like this dark bluey sort of interior, dark bluey sort of roof, and it sits quite well with the rest of the car. The white, the blue with the black wheels, the red calipers. Some people will say it's a mismatch of colours, but no, in the flesh it most certainly isn't. And the people that say that ain't got a bloody clue what they're talking about. because this is a 911 turbo, their daddy. The other thing about these Porsches is also the noise they make is distinct. It's like Marmite, you either love it or you hate it. And I actually really like it. I think it sounds different to the norm. It's that flat 6-cylinder twin turbocharged engine. The best part is the engine is sitting behind you just over there, and it feels very good. It almost feels like a rear wheel drive car normally gives you that feeling that the car's being pushed as opposed to pulled. This is a bit of a weird feeling with these. It is a bit of both, but the engine's in the back, and it's a rear engine 4-wheel drive car. So they've got their own characteristics, and as with all Porsche drivers, they will probably agree, you either love them or you hate them, but I think I love it. I absolutely love it. The way it delivers the power is immense. The way the whole drive is absolutely perfect, and they're easy to drive. You'd expect supercar, this sort of caliber sort of car, it'll be a bit of a pain in the backside to drive, but they're not. You just jump in, drive like a normal car, and it'll drive like a normal car. But then if you want to slay some, newer sort of supercars even, 911 turbo. So here we go, second gear. Oh, that. The pull, with it being like a big engine car with 2 turbochargers strapped to it, the pull is like, it pulls you back in your seat. And the smaller engine cars, you can hear them, it's like they're straining a bit, even though they're not overly strong, but they sound like they are. This thing, there's none of that at all. None of that whatsoever. The moment you put your foot down, they plant and fly. If this thing had wings, this would fly. Literally fly. Imagine that, flying 911 turbo. What a beauty. What a beauty. If I had this sort of money floating around, I'd love another 911 turbo. I'd love one. You won't know what they're about until you've driven one. And when you drive one, they're one of them cars you just fall in love with. So here we are from first gear. These things, they're quite well refined as well. So you're picking up speed, but it's not like a big massive whack. It doesn't make the ride uncomfortable. It doesn't do any of that. It's just a very well built car that really gets to put the power down. The 4-wheel drive system on these cars is very good. It gives you just by physically looking at the width of the rear tires, it gives you that sense of confidence that this car will go around this bend if you're on a track or in Mexico at whatever speeds you want to take it around it. As long as you've got good tires. I know I've seen certain cars budget tires and stuff, and no, you just do not do that with these. Porsches need N-rated tires, and I'm sure certain insurance companies, if when you go to make a claim, it'll be void if you've not got the correct rated tires. These tires, are capable of handling over 200 miles per hour, and this is what Porsche recommends. So you need something that's got good tires. But yeah, they give you that confidence, and when you need to brake and stop, come to a sudden stop, they're massive brakes on the front and back. Back ones are actually way bigger than normal cars as well. But in comparison to the front, they're not that big, but they stop the car on the dot. They're very sharp. It'll almost, slam your brakes on it. It'll probably throw you through the windscreen if you're not wearing your seatbelt, which you should do, people. Just overall, it's a car like I said, you'll jump into, you'll drive, and you'll just fun. Whether you're cruising or whether you're planting it, it's a fun car. And buy one. If you've got the money, if you're looking at one of these, buy one. I know I certainly would have had the money. And with this one being a Tiptronic, personally, my opinion on these cars, I prefer the manual Porsche turbos in general, of this era anyway, the 996s, the 997s, because the steering wheel buttons I'm not a big fan of. You normally get the flappy paddle on the Tiptronic automatic gearboxes, but on the Porsches, you got buttons on the steering wheel, which are a little bit odd when you're trying to, if you've driven other cars, should I say, they do feel a bit odd, but oh, what a car. Such a, this is a car you'll be driving around smiling from ear to ear. No doubts about it. But it also acts as a nice comfortable cruiser. So you can just put it into automatic mode, normal mode, cruise along. It's got a 5-speed gearbox on it, and you just potter around, and it acts like a beautiful cruiser. It's a head-turning, show-stopping car. And this example here is, like I mentioned, is one of the best 997 turbos I've actually seen in the flesh, and now that's saying something. And again, this is my opinion. You may not have to agree with it, but seeing this car in the flesh, it's beauty. It is such a beauty. Right then, guys, I'm going to conclude the video for today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm not going to say short, because it probably won't be short. You know, thank you very much to the owner of this car for allowing me to video this car for you guys to see. It's a beautiful car. I love it. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the content, guys. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Performance Lifestyles. Check us out on Instagram as well, Performance_Lifestyles. And we're on Facebook as well, Performance Lifestyles. We've got plenty of videos uploaded already. Audi RSs, M-Power cars, and general performance sort of cars. We've got another Porsche or so on there as well. So please do feel free to check them out and help us grow. And if you'd like your car featured on our channel, drop us an email at pflifestyle@hotmail.com, and we will be more than happy to accommodate. But as per usual, guys, stay safe in these current crazy climates, and we will catch you on the next video.